Good morning, Carolina. He's Will Kronsberg.
And she's Calista Pushman. Welcome back to Carolina Calendar after a little break. And yeah, I'm tired of saying that.
Well, Will and I are here most weeks, keeping you up to date on what's happening on the USC campus and around Columbia.
This week on the show, a hypnotist is coming to campus, hopefully to convince us that college isn't actually that stressful.
Fingers crossed on that one. Well, crop tops are out and the digestive system is in. Hear about how one fraternity is taking anatomy to the catwalk.
Finally, weather is cooling down, which means winter fashion heating up. We'll tell you what to expect and how to dress for it today on Carolina Calendar. Good morning, Calista.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, Will. Go on. The offense in your face.
Well, Calista, we were off again last week, a little break. This one was a little bit more called for than the last ones. How are we feeling?
Feeling pretty good. It was really exciting. We got to, go to DC. We were gonna vlog, but we just very, very quickly got distracted.
see, the thing is, it just didn't go. It was a good weekend. We met a lot of cool people. We made good friends with our compatriots in Garnet Media Group. But the vlog, it just didn't. It wasn't hitting.
But the one thing that did come out of it, you can let us know what you think. Our fans are going to be called calendar heads.
Calendar heads.
Makes What's up, calendar heads? I'm just jealous of the buzz. The buzz gets Buzz Nation. We need to find our little phrase. So if you have any input, let us know. But what do we got going on in Columbia, Will?
Well, I'm wondering the same thing, Calista. What is the first thing we have today for the calendar heads?
For the calendar heads, we have a food truck festival. It's going to be located at Tin Roof from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. There are going to be 20 different trucks accompanied by some live music. And the best part, besides the food, besides the music, is that it's free.
I mean, I love a good food truck. While we were in DC, we actually stopped by some food trucks. We got some good food. There might be a picture of two of me out on the internet trying to eat a very large and extravagant chicken cheesesteak with a fork because it was so large and extravagant and soggy. But good food truck food.
You're just weak. I had a cheesesteak, same size, same everything. I had a little strategy. Our ladies over at DG, Kate and Sydney were shouting me out. You just wrap it up like a little burrito and you just eat it.
It wasn't the same size. And Sydney had a hot dog, so.
Okay, fair enough. But hopefully, this little food truck festival can take us back to those that fun DC street eat,
Feeling good. Well, if you want to feel better about it, there's a hypnotist, Eric Can, coming to the Rust House Ballroom next Wednesday, November 9th. He'll be here from 6 to 8 p.m. And as with most of these on-campus events, free to students with a Carolina card. I think we mentioned in the open, I'm just hoping that he can make me feel better about what's going on in school.
Yeah, if he starts doing that hypnotist thing where it's when I say baloney, you're gonna bark like a dog for a little bit. Nah. I need some real, applicable hypnosis. I think it would be deeply helpful. I mean, I would say worth the money, but again, it's free.
When I say be happy. How about that?
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty wild. But I do wonder back to that whole weird getting people to act like animals thing. I'm not a believer in hypnosis. I think that they're approached beforehand and being yo, can you do me this solid? But again, I don't know. I would like to see it for myself because I've never been to a hypnosis show.
Without getting too deep into things, because this is a separate conversation for a separate show, shout out to Palmetto State Sports, I kind of wish that a hypnotist would come and talk to some of the Gamecock football staff. Anyway, what is coming up next, Calista?
Yeah, so Phi Delta Epsilon presents the 6th annual Anatomy Fashion Show. There's no good way to segue to that because I'm telling you, this is kind of wild.
I mean, we look fashionable.
We do look fashionable, but they're taking it to a whole new level. So there is a $5 admission fee, but all proceeds are going to Children's Miracle Network hospitals, so a very worthy price to pay. And the models themselves, they're going to be painted to show off different anatomies, different bodily systems, while the announcers give fun facts and explanations about the body system itself. So it sounds really, really cool. And I don't know, I feel I don't know if I've seen something like this before. Very, I like the little model moment, but with that dash of like STEM education. It's just, it sounds very, very cool.
I took an anatomy class my junior year of high school, and it was so interesting. We dissected, mainly we dissected a cat.
Y'all dissected cats?
Not my favorite part of the class, but we did a lot of modeling. We did a lot of like, textbook reading, the normal stuff. Also, my junior year of high school was the only time I ever went to a fashion show. So we just kind of meld those two things together while I continue talking over the face you're making about dissecting cats.
You bring up the cat. I just, every show
cats.
I bring up Puck, and it just makes me really sad. You got really
Puck.
dark this show.
I love Puck, and I love cats. It wasn't my choice. I mean,
you do what you gotta do. You do what you gotta do.
Well, speaking of doing what you gotta do, Joe Gatto of the Impractical Jokers is coming to the Koger Center on November 12th, which would be next Saturday, coming for a night of comedy, and this one's gonna run you a little bit steeper, $40 to $60, so we wanted to let you know well in advance.
Yeah, do those door dashes, save up for this little show. Sounds really fun. I don't know, in my brief experience watching Impractical Jokers, I'm sure, it will be a night of laughs.
I never got super into watching Impractical Jokers, like the show, but I watched the four of them were like advisors sort of on this show. I can't remember what it was called. It was a game show. It was on TBS, and you had to like measure how painful or how shameful different actions were.
Oh, I've totally heard of this, and I have no idea what it's called.
Maybe during the break I'll look it up.
Yeah, we'll figure that out
later. But yeah, so that's really my biggest exposure to the Impractical Jokers. And then I know one of them had a sound go viral on TikTok a couple months, maybe a year ago. So that as well.
All right, well, coming up, Will and I are talking about the importance of Tuesday besides the much needed day off, so stay tuned.
Well, the calendar has turned to November, and in the US, especially in even years, that means something very special. Next Tuesday, November 8th, is Election Day, and this year it is midterm elections, and they have a lot of sway in national policy going forward.
Yes, so both houses of Congress look to be up for grabs, while several states, including South Carolina, have governor's races on the ballot. Now, many of these elections hinge on economic, social, and national security issues and are seen by experts as a pseudo-referendum on the 2020 presidential election. Now, SGTV will remain neutral and nonpartisan in discussing the 2022 elections.
If you are a South Carolinian, in addition to local and state house races, you'll be voting for your U.S. representative, senator, and governor. Of the state's 7 congressional districts, 5 have incumbent Republicans on the ballot, 1 has an incumbent Democrat, and 1 is open after incumbent Tom Rice lost in the primary.
Other races to watch in neighboring states include the Georgia gubernatorial and Senate races, the Florida gubernatorial and Senate races, and open North Carolina Senate race. If you have not already requested an absentee ballot or voted early, vote on Tuesday if you can. Check your state elections commission website to make sure your registration is up to date, and make sure to be in line by 7 p.m. so your vote counts.
Calista, I am heading home to Charleston to vote on Tuesday. It's something that, obviously the first time I was actually eligible to vote was 2020, leading up to the presidential elections, and I really took part in those elections. I voted in the primary. We had primaries for State House in June, a special election, and then a runoff for the special election, and then we had the general election for president, for senator, for State House, for State Senate, all that in 2020, and it was a lot of fun for me. I mean, elections have always meant a lot in my house. Politics has always meant a lot in my house, and I'm really proud to have my voice heard. I want everybody to do the same.
Yeah, it is critical, especially for our generation, to do your research and really make your voice heard. And whether or not you are able to drive back to your hometown and make your voice heard, or you're like me, requested an absentee ballot to just make it happen, you just, as we brought up earlier, you do what you got to do to be heard.
There are a lot of, even though there's no presidential race on the ballot, there are a lot of important issues that affect how strongly or weakly the government can function. If the president is one party, the Senate and the House are different parties, that could put a particular spin on the next 2 years. Obviously, things like the Supreme Court case that overruled Roe v. Wade, BLM protests within the past 3 years, all of these things will have a significant effect on what we see next week in the elections.
Yes, exactly. So after the break, a look at your weekend weather and a peek into what we're feeling fiery about this week. Welcome back, Carolina. We're gonna have a little look at your weekend weather forecast, but starting with today, we are starting in the 60s. It's going to stay sunny and clear. Moving into the afternoon, it's gonna get a little toastier, so maybe taking the blazer off. And moving into the evening, it's gonna stay nice and warm. Now moving into your weekly weather, looking at Saturday where the Gamecocks are taking on Vanderbilt. Fingers crossed that hypnosis works on our team because I want to see a Gamecock win. But potential rainy tailgates, see 40% chance of rain, so either it's going to stay nice and crispy out or it might just get a little wet. Moving into Sunday, the not so Sunday, I mean it's like peeking out there, but we'll see with that cloud coverage. And then moving into Monday, it's hot and bothersome, like yours truly. And moving into Tuesday, clouds rolling in, gonna stay at a nice 74. And Wednesday, we're seeing another chance of rain carrying into those Thursday 70s. I'm gonna send it back to Will.
As Calista makes her way back now from the weather wall,
I zoomed, guys. I'm here.
we're gonna switch over to Will and Calista each rant about random things and hint, a little bit more coherent this week compared to the last few because Calista picked hers first and then I picked based off of that. So mine is hoodies. We're in November. It's what I like to call hoodie season, which I have kind of informally termed the time when there's baseball, the World Series is going on, football.
Go Phillies, go Birds.
We're in the middle of the NFL season. Philadelphia seems to be good at a lot of these things. Basketball,
okay.
We're in the
maybe not basketball.
we're in the third week of the NBA season. The 76ers are not so good. Also, we are in the first few weeks of the NHL season. The Flyers are okay.
Yeah, gritty.
So we're right in the middle of that hoodie season, plus it's literally hoodie season. So I got my hoodie, which I will now put down because, you know, show some
Hoodies.
stuff. But really a big fan of the hoodie and got a little bit of the flannel pattern on here today too.
Which is where mine comes in. I love flannels. I think flannel season, when you have like a hoodie and a flannel, I make maybe like not like these two together because that would be a headache. But
I'm living for the clashing pattern.
It's fun. It's great. But I don't know. Fall is my fall and winter like weather outfits. Fall and winter fashion is my favorite, especially as we get into like I love layers. I will wear as many layers as possible. I'm like a turtleneck, shirt over the turtleneck, hoodie, like flannel over that type of girly, you know? Yeah. So it's great to finally get into like that season where it's like not just like I want to peel off my skin, it's so hot. Right? Like it's lovely.
The good thing about cold weather is that you can take off layers. When you get to warm weather, there are only so many layers that you can take off.
Right? So it's just like we're finally like at that point where it's just adding and removing a sweater. And yeah, I don't know.
Who doesn't love a good hoodie?
Who doesn't love a good hoodie? And
Nice
it makes you feel so fashionable over something so simple. I mean, maybe not as fashionable as that Anatomy runway, but you know, that's more summer. That's more summer.
We can't all be at that level.
We can't, but it's all good. We can try.
With that, we wrap up Carolina Calendar for today, November 4th, 2022.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SGTV at USC.
To keep up with all of our content, be sure to also visit us online at sgtvonline.com. For SGTV News 4, I'm Will Kronsberg.
And I'm Calista Pushman. From all of us here at SGTV, have a great weekend, Carolina. Forever to thee.